Today, the word conservatism has taken on a volatile new meaning. It's become loud, angry, and dangerously quick to tear down anything deemed obsolete or disagreeable. I see voices calling for the complete, immediate, and pure destruction of institutions, of vital societal elements, frankly, of everything they disagree with. It's noisy, it's angry, and it's purely destructive. But as a minister and as someone whose life has been spent both inside and outside of the church, I'm compelled to speak. Not about politics, but about something far deeper. About an authentic spiritual conservatism. I hope you'll stay with me. Hi, I'm Howard, pastor of the Roseville New Church, and welcome to Spiritual Shorts. I haven't always been a minister. For the first half of my adult life, I worked in risk management, a career that taught me to weigh cost against long-term consequences. My wife and I, we also raised 3 children while owning and renovating 2 homes, a process of tearing down, rebuilding, and restoring. And here's the vital lesson I learned from all that work. Demolition is fast, but building something that will last, that takes time. Tearing down, that's impulsive. Building up is patient, intentional work. Give me a sledgehammer and a sawzall, and I can drop a wall in about 10 minutes. But to build a new one, to get it square, level, wired, plumbed, and finished, that takes days of deliberate effort, patience, and a long-term plan. That foundation, risk management and DIY construction, that shapes my moral and spiritual view. To me, authentic conservatism is not about defending the status quo for its own sake, nor about yearning for a past that never was. It means conserving what is genuinely good, pruning what's harmful, and working tirelessly to improve what is broken. It is thoughtful, it is rational, and it's never impulsive. Authentic conservatism is the hardest sell in the world because it requires delayed gratification. Yet that long-term vision is spiritual law. I've heard it said that a society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they'll never sit. This is a spiritual call to protect, to cherish, and to cultivate the inner and outer good for those who come after us. Now, the Lord calls us to this hard work. In the Gospel of John, Jesus said, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." Oh, well, wait, that sounds instantaneous. That's quite the contrast to what I just said. Well, that instant gratification, that quick, simple answer appeals directly to the baseness and the give-it-to-me-now selfishness of the human condition. But true faith, like good construction, it's anything but quick. As Swedenborg explains, the Lord was speaking of the spiritual temple, the one inside each of us, and the process of regeneration, which spans a lifetime, not a long weekend. The 3 days, that symbolizes spiritual completion, the full course of repentance, temptation, and renewal. But before the Lord can raise up the temple, He cleanses it. He calls us to cooperate in the vastation, the deliberate teardown of the old false structures within each of us. We must expose and remove the money changers, those selfish loves and the greed that turn our affections into commerce, and the dove sellers, that spiritual pride that sells the simple truths of faith for external show or partisan advantage. In New Church thought, This fastation is the deliberate uncovering and removal of false ideas and evil desires so that genuine spiritual construction can begin. And this spiritual building process is our life's work. Swedenborg describes it in 3 stages. Day 1, repentance, acknowledging the rot and calling in the divine architect. This is the deliberate teardown of the false self. And day 2, temptation and struggle, the hard, messy middle, laying new foundations of truth while temptations rage. And this is where most people quit. But day 3, for those who endure, this is establishment and use, the completed structure, a life lived for others, a vessel of divine love that builds a heaven on earth through service to the neighbor. This is authentic spiritual conservatism. Not loud, not boisterous, not showy destruction, but patient partnership with the Lord. It's not about fearing change, nor idolizing the past. It's about stewarding what is true and co-creating with the Lord in establishing a more heavenly world for those to come. Commit to the quiet, difficult work of building the temple within. Don't be a wrecking ball. Be a builder. Build justice in your actions. Build fairness in your dealings. And build support for those who fall on hard times. It's easier to tear down than to build up. Yet the divine architect calls us to the sacred labor of building up within ourselves, within our communities, and across generations. And if you commit to this laborious constructive faith, the promise stands. You're not building alone. He who began a good work in you will carry it to completion. So let us be spiritual builders. Let us plant seeds of justice, and let us trust that the Lord will complete what He has begun, if we let Him. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Spiritual Shorts, and may God bless you in all you seek to do in service to the neighbor.